Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Minus 4 Points. It's your boy Amric, and this week we're going to preview game week 15. Last week's video, I was very down. I'd had a bad week the week before. I was promising not to do any minus 4 point hits. I even called the last video how not to play FPL. This week I'm feeling a little bit more confident in this video. We had a better week, a slight improvement. The road to recovery is on. It's the festive season. I'm still giving myself the gift this year of no more minus 4 points. No minus 4 points in December. There's lots of games in December, lots of game weeks. I'm trying not to take any more minus 4 point hits because they weren't working. So let's get underway. This is how I did last week in game week 14. Okay, here you can see my team for game week 14, last game week. An improvement after the horror show the week before where I got 42 points. We bounced back. It's a slight green arrow, 71 points. Now, this season seems really competitive. I mean, 71 points, I would have expected a slightly better overall rise, but I don't know what the other managers are doing this year. I think it's because a lot of us have similar teams. The template this year is so common. So many people have the same players that everyone's gone big at the back. Everyone is captaining Salah every week. So it's very hard this season. This is one of the hardest FPL seasons, especially if, like me, early on in the season, you were taking stupid risks. So I'm coming back from that. It's the road to recovery, people. It's a slight green arrow, pushes my overall ranks slightly up. We're moving up in the right direction. We are moving on up. So 71 points, very happy with that. I only did one transfer. I would have, if I'd have done two transfers, I wanted Jota in my team, and Jota scored at the weekend. However, the transfer I would have done to get Jota in would have been to take Rafinha out for Jota, because Rafinha has really tricky fixtures coming up, and he's the only one I could afford to take into Jota. So I didn't do that. I didn't take the minus 4 point hits, and Rafinha scored. He justified me not taking the hit. So Sanchez in goal, 4 points. He made a lot of saves, got a bonus point, very happy with that. The defense, I wasn't happy. So every week this season, it seems that the defense is doing great. Everyone's going big at the defense. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City all didn't keep a clean sheet. Reece James didn't play for me. I think he might be back for the next game though. I don't think the injury is serious, so don't worry about Reece James. He didn't play this week though, so Livramento came off the bench as he always does. Tino coming off the bench constantly, Livramento, that's his full name. So 2, 1, 1 and 2 in defence. No, not happy about the defence. In midfield, Salah delivered again, but we all have Salah as captain, so it wasn't that. You know, that's the annoying thing about Salah. You need to have him in your team. You need to captain him every week, and then you can't really celebrate when he gets returns because you know everyone's getting those returns. So Salah 30 points, great stuff. Got to stay captain. Smith Rowe with a hilarious goal at the weekend. Fred sort of temporarily injuring De Gea and leaving the goal open for Smith Rowe. Hilarious, especially if you own Smith Rowe. So happy with Smith Rowe's goal. Gallagher 1 point. I am worried about Gallagher. It's a bit too soon, I think, to take him out of our teams. So I'm not being super reactionary right now, especially because I'm only doing one transfer this week. I'm not taking minus 4 point hits. It's the festive season. Look at the background. The background, remember what the background is, people. The background is a gift to myself to remind myself not to take minus 4 point hits during the festive season. So Gallagher's staying in my team for a little bit longer. But he's playing in a deeper role. So you've got to be careful. If you have the luxury of having a free transfer this week, I'd say take Gallagher out because he's playing deeper. Crystal Palace, you know, their form's a little bit wobbling, but even if Crystal Palace have good form, with Eze coming back from injury, he's going to be more advanced. And Gallagher, I think, is going to be playing a little bit more deeper. I'm not fully certain on that, though. So I'm keeping Gallagher just to make sure. He does still take set pieces, so he does still have chances for assists. So Gallagher's staying in my team and Rafinha will be coming out. But Rafinha's last week in my team, he left with a bang. 8 points, very happy with that. He didn't look good all game, but they get the penalty right at the end of the game. And I think their other penalty takers weren't on the pitch. So Rafinha got to take the penalty. So very happy with that. He leaves on a high. And then that was my team on the game weeks, on the first 2 days. And then on the last day, I had Ronaldo and Kane playing. I needed them to save my game week, really, because it was an average week. And I don't know if you remember last week, I was in the exact same position. Everybody had played, and I was waiting for Ronaldo and Kane to save my week. And the last week, Ronaldo didn't start, came off the bench, got booked, got 0 points, and Tottenham's game got cancelled. So I was really scared I was going to have the exact same thing happen this week. Kane didn't deliver. 2 points from Kane. I'm really not happy with Kane. I'm thinking of moving Kane on soon. He just doesn't look interested. And Son's looking lively around him, so perhaps Son would have been the better one to go for than Kane. That's another mistake I've made this season. Should have structured the team to go for Son instead of Kane, but hey-ho, we live and we learn. And Ronaldo delivered 2 goals, 3 bonus points. Ronaldo gets 13 points, and that's what makes my game week good. I had a similar score to everybody else. Because I had Ronaldo and everyone seems to have sold Ronaldo, that's what gave me a slight green arrow. So I'm keeping Ronaldo. He's got a great run of fixtures now, hoping that gives me a little differential. So that's how I did in game week 14. The bench didn't really do much. Alan with 1 point. Now we're going to move on to my watch list. These are players that I'm looking at for the future who I've not brought in this week, but who I'm thinking of bringing in the future. So let's take a look at the game week 15 watch list. So these are the players on my game week 15 watch list. The first one is Dennis. I've ignored Dennis every week, and this was just the week when it hit me that what am I doing not having Dennis in my team? I mean, he looks ruthless. I watched him against Chelsea closely, and I think it's the first game when I sort of watched him closely. I've not watched a lot of Watford. I've seen him getting points. I just assumed it was one-off weeks and that Dennis wasn't going to be a serious thing long-term. He was just having a few good weeks. But watching him against Chelsea, he was playing against a really good defence. He was playing out wide and King was playing up front. And usually you'd think you want the player who's going up front. You don't want the guy playing in wide midfield. But King was kind of quiet. I don't know if King's quite good enough to play that kind of lone striker for Watford. And a lot of people are going King because they think he's the more focal point. But Dennis is constantly bombing down the wing, constantly getting in the box, scored the goal, scored another goal. And at that price, we can't ignore Dennis for much longer. Especially with me thinking of getting rid of Kane. If someone like Dennis is there for 5.4 million currently, even if his price rises to 6 million, that's like almost half the price of Kane. So Dennis is firmly on my watch list, maybe the first player on my watch list. At that price, on that form, I think Watford have one more tricky game, and then their fixtures get a bit easier. I'm targeting, I think, Dennis for when the fixtures get better for Watford. The next one is Reguilon. Again, I watched him for Spurs against Brentford, and he's bombing forward, he's looking lively, getting another assist. They kept a clean sheet. My problem with Spurs is just if they can keep keeping clean sheets. They did look better in defence, but it was Brentford at home. So I think then when Spurs' fixtures get a little bit trickier after Norwich, I'll just pay attention to Reguilon. I'm not in a rush to get him, but I am very aware that he's 5.2, which is cheaper than the likes of the Chelsea and Man City defenders. He's bombing forward, so the chances of assists and goals are quite high. I just want to see a bit more solidity from Spurs, but Reguilon is firmly on that watch list. Now, with Chelsea, the next one is Mount on the watch list. Chelsea's attack is sort of in fluctuation, really. They're all over the place. And Lukaku's coming back from injury. Werner came back recently. Havertz was playing, and now Havertz is out. The players behind the strikers are constantly rotating. It was Hudson-Odoi. Ziyech is getting games. Mount's coming back from injury now. Mount played the last game and he looked good. He looked really lively. Not just his goal, but his constant attacking threat was very lively. He's always around the edge of the box. I think if Mount can get some fitness and Mount becomes regular, because Mason Mount is one of Chelsea's best players. He's one of their most exciting players. He's one of the most dangerous players. And I think Tuchel sees that. He was instrumental last season. Champions League winner, Mason Mount. I think once he gets in a run of games, he's going to be hard to ignore. So Mason Mount is on the watch list, not to bring in now, just because I don't know if he's going to be starting every week, especially with a few Champions League games left. However, if he nails down that first team starting 11 place, Mason Mount, we need to be thinking about. The next one is Tony. Now, I'm someone who sold Tony 3 weeks ago. He then got scored in 2 games and then blanked this game just gone. However, he's almost like Dennis, where if I can bring him back in at that price, I've sort of learned from Tony. I've learned not to expect too much and accept goals when you can get them from Tony. So Tony's someone that I'm kind of looking at when I see Brentford picking up form and when their fixtures get into like a better run of fixtures. Tony's someone I'm looking at because he's on penalties. He plays every game. Brentford don't have Europe. Brentford will have a more regular starting lineup. Tony is a danger. And Mbuemo's the other option, and he doesn't seem to be looking lively anymore. He started this season lively, hit the post a few times, and then he seems to be boiling down. And I think if Brentford pick up a bit of form, Tony's surely going to be the one who's going to be the one scoring. So Tony's someone I'm looking at. And the last one on the watch list this week is Gundogan. Now, Man City suffering always from Pep having a lot of players. The option is Gundogan or Bernardo Silva, and that's the reason why I'm not jumping in on a Man City player yet, because I can't decide which one of those. And Foden is another one. Foden's missed a few games with injury, but when Foden comes back, Pep was really liking Foden. Foden was playing as the kind of false number 9 player, the most attacking of the players. It was Foden. So I think Foden's worth considering. I think Bernardo Silva's worth considering. I think Bernardo Silva, one of the most underrated players in the world. He just delivers for Man City. He's been playing I think he's played every game this season apart from the first game. So Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. What's putting me off is that I can't decide which one to go for. Gundogan had a little injury, so missed the last game. Foden had a little injury, but is now back in training. I guess I'm just waiting to see which one is nailed on, but it's Man City. I think with Man City, I think if you have a good bench, you just got to pick one and then go for it. So Gundogan and Bernardo Silva are cheaper than Foden. That they have that in their favour, but Foden is playing as the striker, so I'll probably give it 1 more week, maybe 2 more weeks. I just have too many transfers to do. I want to take Kane out. I want to take Gallagher out. For me, it's gonna be about doing one transfer at a time and seeing who has the best fixtures that week when I want to bring them in. But ideally, I'd like to have Dennis, Reguilon, Mount, and a City midfielder in my team in the future. So for me, it's about slowly building up to bringing these players in. So they're the players on my watch list. I didn't bring any of those in this week. Let's take a look at the one transfer I have done for this week by showing you my team for game week 15. Here we go. So here we go. This is my team for game week 15. I'm sticking with Sanchez in goal. Trent, Livramento's starting this week. So usually Livramento, he just loves coming off the bench. That's his life. Being my first substitute and coming on every week. This week he's got the luxury of starting because my other defender, Ben Johnson, has Chelsea. So not playing Johnson against Chelsea. So it'll be Livramento starting against Brighton. Hoping Brighton don't do what they've done in other weeks and struggle to score. And James and Alonso are at the back. I don't know if they're both going to play. Alan might be coming off the bench and he'll probably get 2 points. So I'm hoping they both play. James was injured but is coming back. So hopefully James plays. And with Alonso, he got substituted and doesn't look like... You just don't know with Alonso because he didn't play for a while and now he's suddenly back in the team and there's lots of fixtures. I have a feeling Tuchel might want to try Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic or Azpilicueta on the wing. So we'll see with Alonso. But if they both play, it's West Ham. And that will be a hard game. So I'm not expecting too much from my defence this week. Like last week, I think it might be similar. They've all got away games apart from Livramento. And Livramento is playing for Southampton. So it's going to be tricky for my defence to get points. So I'll take a clean sheet from any of them, really. In midfield, Salah's sticking on captain. Now, before the Spurs-Brentford game, I debated Kane as captain because Norwich at home is a great fixture. And as a striker and as someone like Harry Kane, you think it's a good fixture for him. So I was so close to captaining Kane this week. But after the Brentford game, seeing how Kane didn't look interested, seeing how he wasn't really involved, I can't captain Kane. So it's going to stay on Salah against Watford. Even though Salah is due a rest, surely one of these weeks, Salah is going to get rested and it's going to really hurt our teams. So I could even possibly put the vice-captaincy on Ronaldo because Ronaldo looked good against Chelsea, but then maybe Ronaldo will get rested again. We just don't know. The new manager is going to be taking over for Man United this weekend. I don't know how he's going to play. I don't know how important Ronaldo's going to be in the team, so I'm going to see. At the moment, it seems like the safest thing to do is just keep it on Salah. So Salah's captain. Jota's in midfield. Jota is my transfer this week. Rafinha's gone out because Rafinha's fixtures after this week are ridiculously bad. They've got all the top teams. So Rafinha out for Jota is a no-brainer for me. Jota is essential, I think. At this point, Jota's looking lively. He's playing up front. Even when Firmino comes back, Jota's still a great rotation player. And also when Salah and Mane leave for the AFCON, Jota is going to be playing every game they're away. So it's good to get on Jota now so that you've got him in for the AFCON. So I'm ahead of the curve on that. Jota's in the team. Smith Rowe and Gallagher, both away games, especially Gallagher, a tricky game, away at Old Trafford. And I'm not expecting much again from Gallagher, so anything's a bonus from him. Up front, if they play, Ronaldo and Kane I'm sticking with because Crystal Palace at home for Ronaldo and Norwich at home for Kane are two great fixtures. The only thing is, if Kane looks interested, that's one thing that could hurt me. The other thing is if Ronaldo gets rested. So I can't really predict that because at this period of the season in December, there's so many fixtures, anyone could get rested at any point. So you kind of you can't really plan for players to be rested. You just have to put your best team out there, hope they all play, have an okay bench. Like you look at my bench, Allen, Johnson and Gelhardt. I mean, maybe Gelhardt plays because Bamford's still injured and Leeds like to rotate their strikers, possibly. Maybe Johnson plays, maybe Allen plays. You don't know. But it's that stage of the season, people. You don't know. So in transferring in Jota, I've used all my money. So it was perfect. Jota's had 2 price rises, but I could just afford him. I've now got 0 in the bank. But at least I've got Jota. And if I take Kane or Ronaldo out like I'm planning, more Kane now. Before I was wondering, who's it going to be, Ronaldo or Kane? Who's dropping out? But now, after Kane's last performances, it looks like Kane will be dropping out and that's where I'll get my money back. So, 1 transfer done, people. I'm only going to do 1 transfer. I'm not doing another transfer. We're sticking to our festive promise. That's my present to myself. No more minus 4-point hits. I hope you're doing well. I'm on the road to recovery. I'm slowly building my rank back up. I hope you guys have a good week in game week 15. Good luck to everyone. And we'll have another video very shortly. But it seems like I'm making a video every other day this period. And I like it. I love this period. There's lots of FPL. Good luck with your game week 15s, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll see you next video.